Hello everybody, this is Stephen House and this is Full Time Devils. Manchester United have lost to Hull City 2-1 in the EFL semi-final second leg, but we go through 3-2 on aggregate. The unbeaten run of 17 games comes to an abrupt end with Manchester United crashing out to one of the worst teams that we've faced in this period in Hull City, and it was one of the worst performances that we've seen from Manchester United. There's no way hiding it. It was awful. It was devoid of inspiration, it was devoid of effort, it was devoid of talent and skill and desire, and it was really hard to watch. It didn't feel like our Manchester United. Do you know when we wasn't quite getting the results and we was playing well? There's a massive difference between when we're not playing well or not getting the results and it feels alright. You come out of a ground, you leave a match and you go, do you know what? We might not have got what we wanted today, but we was there or thereabouts. Didn't get that impression today whatsoever. I thought that was a big fat warning sign. Michael Carrick's had two pretty ordinary, I would say below average games on the bounce now. Two, right? If that's not a big warning signal for Jose Mourinho that actually this is a genuine 35-year-old. It's not some sort of Peter Pan kind of guy. This is a 35-year-old that you've played since he got into the team just after the derby. He's been played right the way through and barely rested. Now, the times that he's come in has really sort of coincided with us performing very well. We found that midfield trio of him, Herrera and Pogba working excellent. Pogba's played a lot of football. Carrick has played a lot of football. And I think that you can put some of what we saw tonight down to tiredness, potentially, at least potentially. I think the need to find someone who can fill in for Michael Carrick when he doesn't play is looming large on the horizon. I think it's the number one issue facing Jose Mourinho and Manchester United right now. That and how to get Zlatan Ibrahimovic scoring. Again, this is not another guy that might not be a Peter Pan. He might be able to adapt to the Premier League perfectly fine, but again, he might be super fit, but he is 35 years of age. This is a tough league. We play a lot of football. We travel a lot of miles across Europe in this stupid Thursday night football league that we're in. There's got to be a time when squad rotation comes in, and I think Jose Mourinho has gone maybe too hard, too long with too strong a side. This is where we want to see him bringing in some of the youth. This is where we want to see him freshen that team up. I think this team has got just a tiny bit stale. Over the last few weeks, the performance levels dropped. We still might have maintained some results, although we haven't really maintained the results. The performances have started to just fall off just a little bit. Now, this is where we really want to see Jose Mourinho show us what he's got, pull something out, show us the ability that he's got to be able to change this up. One of the criticisms that you get about Jose Mourinho, apart from the youth thing, is that he burns through players. Players are knackered at the end of his 3 years, and when he eventually ends up getting sacked or walking out on a club, it's because he's had enough of them and they've had enough of him, because it's all just gone too abrasive. He needs to have more longevity. He needs to be able to understand how. Maybe he needs to speak to Fergie. Maybe he needs to have a sit down and a chat with him. Fergie used to send the likes of Rooney and Ronaldo off to Dubai for a week in the middle of the season. Go and recharge your batteries. Go and get your head straight. Go and do this, that and the other. Come back. And maybe that was why Fergie maintained so much success. He knew the time to change a player. He knew the time to rest a player. He knew the time that a player was coming to the end of their career and when to bring them in. So Fergie never really suffered from everyone being stale. And he was obviously, the longevity that he had at the club meant that he could oversee these changes on a more gradual scale. What we've seen in the last 3 years is where managers have come in, they want their own team, they want their own staff, and then when they've gone pretty quickly, someone else comes in and all this upheaval and everything else isn't really good for the long-term longevity of the club. And that's what the issue is I think Manchester United face at the moment, is that we've gone short-term so often in the last couple of years. There hasn't been any long-term strategy. There hasn't been any long-term tapering and planning, because every game is vital that we win it. And we've not really had any time where we can take our foot off the gas, swap somebody else in. And I think if you don't take a little bit of time out now to figure this out and do something about it, maybe that's involving a signing, maybe that's promoting someone a little bit, maybe it's in bringing in a couple of players just to be fringe players from the under-23s into the first team squad to alleviate a little bit of pressure, then I think Manchester United are really going to struggle. The writing was on the wall that we was going to be successful with the results and the draws that we was getting against the likes of Arsenal and Everton and Stoke and Burnley. The writing was on the wall that we was going to kick in and find that next gear. I think the writing's on the wall, looking at these last couple of results now, that it's going to go the other way. And that worries me. That really worries me. Because I think if Manchester United do start going the other way, because of our position in the league, we don't have that safety net of being ahead of the teams to go into our bit of a slip up. we're going to find ourselves out of the race in many different ways, and that is a bad thing. I'm going to come to you guys' comments in a second, so let me know what you think. Do you think the writing's on the wall for us? Am I overreacting, or is there something in that we might have played too many senior players too often, and we might have squeezed a little bit too much juice out of them for where we stand in the season? We're still in 4 competitions. We have now got to Wembley, and I should be talking about how Manchester United have now got to a cup final. But it feels false for me to come on and start celebrating that we've just made it to a cup final on the back of a defeat. I expected us to get through Hull. We got through Hull. So I'm not going to sit here and celebrate, because that's not really what... I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do... I'm not going to sit here and be all buzzing about us getting through to a cup final at Wembley, because we actually don't deserve it on the back of that performance today. We was poor. We should have been a hell of a lot better than we was. But we are through to a final at Wembley. We've got 90 minutes now before we can pick up Jose Mourinho's first bit of silverware. So we might as well go out and win it. We might as well put every effort that we've got into taking this thing and winning this thing. Otherwise, what's the point in taking part in all these competitions? You might as well just be Arsenal if you're going to turn up and do nothing about it. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. United took it easy. Yes, they possibly did. Give Fosu-Mensah a chance against Wigan. Do you expect him to make any changes? Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think we're going to make any changes in the Wigan game? Obviously, we've got Wigan Sunday and then Hull again on Wednesday. So there's a quick turnaround now between these games. We will have played 3 games in the next 6 days. So we'll see. Someone says, I'm overreacting. Give it time. Well, what time do you... It's gone good and it's coming bad. So... if it was give it time, you would see a trajectory going like that, and you can say, yeah, you need to give it time, it's going in the right direction. When it's going in the wrong direction, why would you want to give something time to go in the wrong direction? That doesn't make any sense to me. Hopefully it's a kick up the arse, says James. That's a good shout. Yeah, hopefully maybe it is. We had it coming, says Danny. But do we need to have it coming? Why do we need to have it coming? Is that because of the way we treated it? Is that because of what we've allowed to happen? Why does it need to be like that? Title race may be over. What was that one? That went a bit quick. Fosu-Mensah Tuanzebe against Wigan, definitely. Do you think he's going to start him? I'd be very shocked if he just straight out starts him. I think he'd probably end up coming off the bench. Do not play Lingard, says Ankit. You're going to have to give us a bit more detail, because I thought his movement in the final third was probably some of our better, actually. In Mourinho we trust. I've not said anything counter to that whatsoever, but I'm saying he needs to sort it out. I think he can sort it out, but he needs to get on there and actually do that. Marshall is the key. He changes everything. Marshall's had a couple of average games. You know, you look at who is missing today. There is positives in who's missing, in the likes of Mkhitaryan, Marshall. These are players that can come in and make a difference. The penalty shout was an awful one. Absolutely awful. The penalty in the second half for Chris Smalling, how is that not a foul and the one in the first half is a foul? I've seen saying it was pulling shirts or for Rojo in the first half, but that was 50-50 in my eyes. Supposedly the referee said it was for the push. Someone's seen the referee talking to Rojo and he said it was the push. So hang on, if it was the push from Rojo, which was a penalty in the first half, how was it not a penalty in the second half? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And this isn't sour grapes because we've lost the game. I don't give a shit. We're through to the final. That's all that matters in the grand scheme of things. I am just worried about Manchester United's performance. And I'm also worried about the inconsistency from referees, because that's what's doing my head in all over the place. We have the 4th place in the league. Well, not at the moment we don't. We really don't. A couple of injuries and we are screwed. I think you're probably right, to be honest. Why is Pogba and Zlatan bigger than the club? I don't think they are, to be honest. Ronaldo is the missing link. We're not getting Ronaldo. How about relax? Defence does not look convincing at all. I would agree on that one, mate. Big time. It was a shit penalty. It was a very good taken penalty, but it was a poor decision for the penalty. Remain positive. Well, remaining positive in the face of obvious concern and things that you do need to be concerned about makes you deluded. You need to actually address and acknowledge the problems that we do look at the club, and the defence doesn't look right at the moment. And I do think Michael Carrick hasn't looked great for the last couple of games, and when he's not on it, the whole team sort of falls apart. He's a very, very important part of this team, and we need to figure out, if he isn't going to be able to play, who plays? Valencia might have been missing. That's a great shout. Should Rashford start regularly? I think Rashford's better on the right than on the left. I really do. Title race may be over, but we can go for fourth and a few cups. We can go for fourth and a few cups, but there's still issues that need to be addressed before we get anywhere near there, I think. Valencia was missed today, yet we've seen that one. Is Borthwick Jackson available? As far as I know, he's not even back from Wolves yet, although I heard he was coming back like 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what's going on with that. Need to Anzebe and Fosu Mensah. I don't know if you can say we need them, but it would be nice for them to be given the opportunity to play. We didn't see Luke Shaw today. He does need minutes. Do you think we're going to get some minutes from him on Sunday against Wigan? I think that would be nice. We are United, not Liverpool. That's a pretty obvious statement. I don't know what it means, though. What do I think is going on with Jose and Marshall? I said this at half-time. I said this on Daily this morning. There's nothing going on with Jose and Marshall. Listen to what the guy says. This is why I'm getting frustrated with everyone talking about it. Listen to what he says. He says he didn't take the chance with both hands. And I've got other players that are about the same sort of level and ability as him. Mata, Lingard, Mkhitaryan, Rashford, who all need games. He's right. You've got to come in and be undeniable. Mkhitaryan came in after his extended absence and was undeniable, right? Marshall wasn't undeniable. Hence, Marshall has been rotated in and out with other players. Look at the amount of goals that Mata's got, the amount of assists that Mata's got. There's a reason why Mata is getting all of that and then getting some games. Marshall's not come in and been undeniable. If he'd have scored 5 goals in 5 games, do you think he'd have been dropped? Not at all. But he hasn't. And he hasn't looked 100% in any of them games. That's why you're not seeing him with it. Spurs and Arsenal and City games are crucial for top 4. Of course they are. We need to do better in the top 6 games that we get. Jones, Darmian, Rojo and Smalling were terrible today, says name's gone, apologies. Should Darmian be sold in the summer? I think he's alright as a right back, but he's not a first choice right back. He's alright as backup. I wouldn't want him as first choice. Mickey brings pace, says Raja. Yes, I do think he does as well. Do I think we need new signings? Not necessarily, no. I think we've got the options to do what we need to do. Like, if Carrick's looking knackered and it looks like he can't continue to do what he's doing at the level he's doing it, why can't we try Daley Blind there? Try Daley Blind there, rather than just persisting with Carrick, who definitely needs a rest. So I don't know. Griezmann for United, obviously that's not going to happen in January. That's probably going to be in the summer. I do think we can finish second. Yeah, someone said, can we finish second? I think it's possible. There's all them teams above us are going to drop points. But we can't start dropping points just yet because we're out of that top 4. We need to get right in the mixer. Griezmann is going to make... I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. There's only 11 spots in the squad, but everybody needs game time. Precisely, yeah. There's nothing going on with Marshall and with Jose Mourinho. This is the papers. Stop feeding into the papers shit. Whenever you see a newspaper that says something like that, just reply to them saying, why are you lying? Because that's not what Jose said. Stop twisting his words. Right, I am going to leave it as there. You guys let me know in the comments, who do you think was man of the match? Are you coming to Wembley? Are you looking forward to that trip? And all the rest of it. Thank you for watching. Stay locked to Full Time Devils. The fan cams will be heading over pretty damn soon, so we'll have loads of stuff, including Adam's review from the KC as well. So make sure you keep it locked to Full Time Devils. We'll be back on daily, or I'll be back on daily. It'll be a little bit earlier tomorrow morning, all being well. And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.